¿Qué tal amigos? Bienvenidos a un nuevo video en el canal. Estoy muy contento de estar nuevamente con todos ustedes. Feliz inicio de semana para todas las personas que me escuchan en cada video. Y bueno, ya vimos cómo la semana pasada le estuvieron diciendo de todo, lo agarraron a batacazos a Pete y Set, le dijeron que era un inútil, que no sabía, que era un irresponsable, que era un grosero, que faltaba mucho al respeto. Y sí, la verdad es que sí. Pero vamos a ver, vamos a cambiar ahora de tema, vamos a ver cómo Dick Durbin le lanza una bomba total a todos los republicanos que se estuvieron pues burlando de Joe Biden y desde hace tiempo, no es de ahorita, desde hace tiempo que se han estado burlando bastante del expresidente y Dick Durbin sacó un video y una compilación bastante picante en contra de Donald Trump, así que este es un video bomba. No se lo pierdan, así que bueno, pónganse cómodos y adelante con las imágenes.
Thank you, Chairman Grassley. This committee has oversight responsibility over the Department of Justice, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, and the Department of Homeland Security. We have a constitutional duty to hold these agencies accountable with public hearings. By this date in my first year as chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, we had already held two major oversight hearings with Biden administration agency heads, including one with the FBI Director Wray on domestic terrorism threats. So far this year, the Republican majority on this committee has not held a single oversight hearing, despite numerous critical challenges facing the nation that are under our jurisdiction. In the last week alone, several events have demanded this committee's immediate attention. The horrific assassination in Minnesota, the treatment of our colleague Senator Padilla by federal agents in Los Angeles, and President Trump's unprecedented deployment of the U.S. military in Los Angeles. We should hear without delay from Attorney General Bondi and FBI Director Patel about what they are doing to address the unacceptable political violence in our country, including threats to Article III judges and justices, as well as members of Congress. And we need to hear from the Homeland Security Secretary Noem about the treatment of our colleague, Senator Padilla, and this administration's mass deportation campaign against immigrants. But instead of exercising this constitutional oversight duty, my Republican colleagues are holding this hearing. Apparently, armchair diagnosing former President Biden is more important than the issues of grave concern which I have mentioned. To take a few examples of the issues this committee should be addressing, the Trump administration has removed dozens of senior career prosecutors and FBI officials with decades of national security expertise, leaving our nation more vulnerable to terrorism and other national security threats. This should be explained to this committee. The Justice Department has diverted hundreds of law enforcement agents away from combating cartels, drug trafficking, and gun violence to participate in President Trump's mass deportation campaign. This should be addressed in an open hearing of this committee. The Justice Department is also turning a blind eye to corruption. The administration has gutted the Department of Justice's Public Integrity Session, which oversees political corruption, just as the president's shameful crypto scheme unfolds. And the administration has removed Department of Justice career ethics officials and shut down the office charged with investigating misconduct by DOJ attorneys. With these internal checks gone and this committee asleep at the wheel, it's no surprise that Attorney General Bondi signed off on President Trump to accept Qatar's gift of a $400 million luxury airliner, despite the fact that the Attorney General was previously a registered foreign agent for the Qatari government. We are still waiting for her official finding on this gift transfer. And it's no surprise that Department of Justice official Emil Bove tried to strike a corrupt bargain with New York Mayor Eric Adams, dropping public corruption charges in exchange for the mayor's cooperation with Trump agenda mass deportations. When it comes to these historic, compelling issues, The GOP majority tells America to move along. Nothing to see here. Let's revisit this administration of a previous president in this hearing. Let's revisit a 20-year-old precedent on the use of an auto pen. And I know my Republican colleagues are eager to discuss President Biden's pardons. But why are they ignoring the actual pardon crisis that's taking place right now? President Trump's pay-to-play scheme. Last month, President Trump pardoned Paul Walzak, who pleaded guilty in 2024 to withholding over $7 million of taxes from his employees' paychecks and failing to pay them to the Internal Revenue Service. What warranted Mr. Walzak's swift pardon by President Trump? His pardon application explicitly cited millions of dollars his mother raised for President Trump's campaigns and other efforts to support the president. But that was not enough. It was 3 weeks after Mr. Walzak's mother attended a $1 million a person Trump fundraiser in April of this year that Mr. Walzak was miraculously receiving his pardon. And now he no longer must pay $4.4 million to the taxpayers of this country. That's one example of the many pardons granted to President Trump's wealthy donors and political supporters. Of course, these pay-to-play pardons are in addition to more than 1,500 January 6 rioters who received blanket pardon from President Trump, including 169 who violently assaulted law enforcement officials. And we're going to make a question of cognitive ability. I think we should consider what happened in Alberta, Canada, just this week, where President Trump was at a press conference with British Prime Minister Keir Starmer and said the following: "You all know the great PM of the UK, and we just signed a document." President Trump continued, "We just signed it so we have our trade agreement with the EU. Britain has not been a party to the EU for 5 years, but President Trump made a statement which clearly was wrong." Now I'd like you to see a short video that includes some other examples of cognitive ability.
Don't you need to uphold the Constitution of the United States as president?
I don't know.
The windmills are driving the whales crazy, obviously.
I have concepts of a plan. They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the... I know about magnets is this. Give me a glass of water. Let me drop it on the magnets. That's the end of the magnet. The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning?
This is a tough hurricane, one of the wettest we've ever seen from the standpoint of water. When you ran out the healthy arms, you ran out of really healthy. They had great arms, but they ran out. It's called sports. It's called baseball in particular.
Can't understand a word he's saying.
Did you just see Maduro, Venezuela? It's unbelievable.
Well, I don't know about it. I mean, obviously, I'm not involved.
He wants to know why the proclamation was signed in the dark.
I don't know when it was signed because I didn't sign it. Other people handled it.
Do any of these statements raise a question of cognitive ability? You be the judge. If my colleagues are truly interested in issues of presidential succession and disability under the 25th Amendment, I would suggest they embark on this constitutional journey with a proposed amendment, not today's political adventure. I yield.
Good morning.
Y bueno, y terminan diciendo good morning, Dios mío. Bomba, video bomba que soltó el senador Dick Durbin en contra de los republicanos, en contra de esos republicanos que se estaban burlando, porque eso ya no es política, eso ya es algo personal, en contra de los republicanos que se estaban burlando en contra del expresidente Joe Biden, pero me encantó cómo Dick Durbin poco a poco fue desmenuzando dentro de su discurso de que todo esto está siendo una farsa, todo esto está siendo, sí, señores, si esto no está siendo corrupción por parte del gobierno actual, por parte de indulto a muchas personas que tienen mucho dinero y les perdonan, la hacen con donación de impuestos, si están tratando de manejar al país como si fuera un juguete, si están haciendo solamente sus negocios personales, si todo ese tipo de cosas no representan corrupción, si todo ese tipo de cosas no representan tráfico de influencias, entonces me gustaría saber qué son el tráfico de influencias, qué es la corrupción, qué es todo este tipo de cosas que sin duda la verdad es de que deja muchísimo que desear porque no solamente es Donald Trump, sino todos los que están abajo de él en su gobierno. Imagínense todas las personas que terminarían embarradas en casos de corrupción. Sería, o sea, sería una bomba nuclear esto, o sea, y me encantó como Dick Durbin, magnífico, magnífico discurso en contra de aquellos que se están, y se me hace una falta de respeto, y no porque yo, si yo sea o no partidario de Joe Biden, porque ni estadounidense soy para empezar, pero sí se me hace una falta de respeto que se estén burlando de personas que estén ya en una etapa de adultos mayores que merecen el máximo de respetos como cualquier persona, pero sobre todo hacen ver a Joe Biden como si fuese, bueno, el señor es un octogenario, pero como si el señor tuviera 200 años y Donald Trump tuviera solamente 19, o sea, ¿saben a qué me refiero? O sea, Joe Biden tiene 82 años de edad y ¿saben cuántos años tiene Donald Trump? 79, o sea, realmente no es mucho la diferencia, o sea, ese es el tema, o sea, quieren hacer ver a Donald Trump como que está todavía muy activo, que se las puede todas, y no es cierto. Y Dick Durbin, con esa recopilación que él mostró, hace dar cuenta que no es así. ¿Cómo vas a decir que el mejor lugar del riñón es el corazón? Por favor, o sea, y luego con el tema de que le preguntaron con un tema de sobre la firma de un documento, él dice que él no la firmó, que se lo dejó a otras personas. O sea, bueno, entonces, ¿qué estás haciendo, compadre? Pero bueno, hasta aquí el video, señores. Me encantó este video hacerlo. ¿Qué opinan? De verdad es una crítica muy dura por parte de Dick Durbin a Donald Trump, pero es algo justo y necesario también bajarle a esas gentes que se están pasando de la raya, sobre todo con los Estados Unidos y sobre todo con su propia población. Les mando un abrazo, nos vemos en la siguiente, comenten, es totalmente gratis, suscríbanse, no cuesta absolutamente nada, es solamente para que ustedes no se pierdan pues los videos que hemos estado publicando. Así que bueno, siempre bienvenidos, todos sus comentarios son bienvenidos. Así que bueno, comentó algo Dick Durbin muy interesante sobre Pam Bondi y es a la persona que vamos a abordar en los siguientes videos. Así que bueno, esténse atentos, así porque ya viene Pam Bondi. Les mando un abrazo y nos vemos en el siguiente video. Bye bye.